lovelies, welcome to my channel. My name is Laura and today we're going to be talking all about Marilyn Monroe and the evolution of her hairstyle, all the way from when she was Norma Jeane to Marilyn Monroe. And before we jump into that, I just want to thank Simple Retro for sending me a whole bunch of spring clothing. And I was really excited about this because I needed some new clothes for spring, and I love vintage inspired unique clothing. And Simple Retro is inspired by iconic vintage silhouettes to deliver fresh designs. Their design focuses on creating pieces that are effortless, which transcend seasonal trends, fitting seamlessly with any modern wardrobe. 6 times a year, they release seasonal collections, including pre-spring and pre-fall. Every 2 Wednesdays, a new release is dropped. More than 80% of their team members are females, and they seek to empower women universally with a deep commitment to help and grow together. In May 2021, they collaborated with Go Fund Her for supporting women businesses and dreams. They will continue to work with females with a mission to eliminate gender inequality. And I was really excited about that. So Simple Retro wants to bring affordable pricing to everyone who loves vintage fashion. And I really think the garments have a really good quality and feel to them. They don't seem cheap at all and they fit really nice. It's a perfect clash between vintage style and modern comfort. Simple Retro strives to create easy to wear pieces for a woman's daily life and professional needs. And I love that all the pieces I chose are classic, like my blazer and the floral dresses. And I really like the Edwardian Victorian feel to this spring collection. In 2015, a group of girls with different cultural backgrounds met in New York City. They enjoyed weekly Sunday brunches and time walking around the city, visiting thrift shops. The love of vintage clothing connected them and sparked an idea to create a brand they wanted to wear themselves. This is how the brand Simple Retro began. A group of girls and a passion for vintage. In 2020, Simple Retro came back to the city they loved. They missed the excitement that New York brought and the energy they felt from the street. And the brand is sustainable. They produce in small quantities to prevent waste, and their suppliers make sure to minimize water usage through water cycle technologies. And this new Victorian collection is all made with cotton and rayon, and they use exquisite Victorian style by paying attention to all the details from the era in terms of fabric, and they use 100% certified cotton and rayon to ensure comfortability and environmental protection. And I can really see how these will be perfect in the summer because they're super lightweight and breezy, and they just feel so comfortable on, and I think they're very flattering as well.
Platinum blondes flourished throughout Hollywood's golden age. Jean Harlow, Veronica Lake, and Carole Landis, Jayne Mansfield, and Grace Kelly, to name a few. However, one actress's trademark blonde hair is an excellent depiction of the era. It has transcended it to become one of the most iconic of any actress of the 20th century. When you think of Marilyn Monroe, the actress's iconic appearance comes to mind. Bleached blonde hair, red pouty lips, and long black lashes. That's the image that the former Norma Jeane cultivated throughout her career, including films, photo sessions, and public appearances. Her appearance, particularly her hair color, was unnatural and took years to obtain. Monroe was born Norma Jeane Mortensen on June 1st, 1926 at the LA County Hospital. Norma Jeane used various surnames interchangeably throughout her childhood. Baker for her mother Gladys's first husband, Mortensen for Gladys's second husband, and Monroe for Gladys's maiden name. Gladys was confused with her daughter's paternity, and most Marilyn Monroe biographers now agree that Gladys had no idea who her daughter's father was. Gladys had an affair with her supervisor C. Stanley Gifford at the film lab where she worked, and broke things off when he found out she was pregnant, according to legend. Even when she became famous, Gifford famously refused to communicate with Marilyn. Gladys experienced a nervous breakdown in 1934 and was sent to a mental institution after being diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. She spent the remainder of her life in and out of hospitals with little contact with her daughter, who spent her traumatic childhood in at least one orphanage and was tossed between 12 foster families. Norma Jeane lived with relatives or at the different homes of her mother's friends. Grace McGee, later Goddard, who finally became her guardian and took charge of her and her mother's affairs. When Grace remarried, the issue grew much more difficult. Grace stayed very active with Norma Jeane's life even after she couldn't house her herself. Grace would visit Norma Jeane frequently when she returned to the foster system, bringing new clothing and makeup to keep the often abandoned girls' spirits up. Grace, in reality, was the one who instilled in Norma Jeane the desire to become a Hollywood star. Grace was enamored with Hollywood's original blonde bombshell, Jean Harlow, and Norma Jeane's passion with the movies and Hollywood's attractive actresses grew out of this obsession. Norma Jeane, a fresh-faced brunette, was living with Grace at the age of 16 when she was forced to return to the foster system for the second time. Instead, she dropped out of high school and married James Dougherty, a 21-year-old, just weeks after her 16th birthday, on June 19th, 1942. He joined the U.S. Merchant Marine a year later in 1943, and she accepted a job as a parachute inspector and later as a paint sprayer at an airline facility in Burbank as part of the World War II industrial effort. In late 1944, Norma Jeane met photographer David Conover, who had been dispatched to the factory where she worked by the U.S. Army Forces 1st Motion Picture Unit to take morale-boosting photographs of the woman who worked there. Conover was immediately smitten by the attractive brunette and grabbed a few color photos of her at work. I walked down the production line, capturing photographs of the most attractive employees, Conover subsequently wrote. None of them were really unusual. I approached a lovely young lady who was putting propellers and elevated the camera to my eye. Her face was covered with grime, and she had curling ash blonde hair. I took a picture of her and continued walking. Then I came to a halt, speechless. She was stunning. Her eyes, part child, half lady, held something that captivated and piqued my interest. Norma Jeane was ecstatic. There had never been a good reason for anyone to single her out. Conover, as well as his photography buddies, wanted to shoot her again and again after that day. She'd asked the photographers about lenses and lighting, as well as what she could do with her poses and makeup to make each image great. Norma Jeane quickly disregarded her deployed husband and moved out on her own, and quit working the plant in January 1945. She had signed a contract with the Blue Book Model Agency as a photographer's model in August 1945. In 1945, the future Marilyn Monroe was wanted by photographers for her natural look, which was actually really ironic given what she came to embody in terms of her artificial and unreachable beauty later on. Jim Dougherty didn't recognize his wife when he returned in December 1945 after an 18-month absence. She divorced Dougherty in the spring of 1946 and was eager to get back to work. Norma Jeane was soon instructed by Emmeline Snively, the head of the Blue Book Model Agency, that she needed to bleach her hair if she wanted to work more. After all, brunettes could only be photographed in a limited number of ways, whereas blondes could be anything, according to Snively. "Look, sweetie," Snively told her later, "if you really want to go to places in this profession, you only have to bleach and straighten your hair, since your face is a little too round currently, and a hair job will lengthen it." Snively took Norma Jeane to Frank and Joseph's beauty salon across the street from the Blue Book Agency one day in 1946. Rita Hayworth and Ingrid Bergman were among the stars whose hair was selected by the renowned stylist. Sylvia Barnhart, a tint technician, immediately went to work straightening Norma Jeane's hair, which she characterized as brown and kinky. Her hair was additionally brightened by the powerful solution used in the treatment, giving it a reddish blonde hue. Norma Jeane liked the result. She thought it made her eyes pop and wanted to go even blonder to look like her idol Jean Harlow. So over the next 6 months, Barnhart gradually lightened and toned Norma Jeane's hair to a golden honey blonde color, one step at a time. Her widow's peak was also removed using electrolysis around her hairline. Norma Jeane's blonding hair, like Harlow's, drew the attention of Hollywood's most productive eye, Howard Hughes. He used the head of RKO, discovered Norma Jeane in one of the 33 publications that had published images of her in the mid-1940s, and demanded that she be tracked down and brought in for a screen test. Hughes' interest was leveraged by Norma Jeane's agency to secure a meeting with Ben Lyon, casting director at 20th Century Fox. And Norma Jeane was promptly put to the test with cinematographer Leon Shamroy. Shamroy was taken aback when he received the film from the session. He later claimed that the camera caught something in this newly blonde woman that he hadn't seen in years, if not since Hollywood's original blonde bombshell, Jean Harlow. She was dubbed Sex on a Piece of Film by Shamroy. Norma Jeane was hired for 1 year, $125 per month deal with 20th Century Fox on August 26, 1946, on the condition that she find a new name. Leon advised she adopt the name Marilyn, and she added Monroe, her mother's maiden name, the only name she felt confident in adopting as her own. Norma Jeane's hair changed as she evolved from the meek, timid Norma Jeane to a more dazzling Marilyn Monroe. For years, Barnhart straightened and bleached Marilyn's hair, and when Barnhart went to Frank and Joseph's second Hollywood Boulevard salon, Marilyn followed her. Marilyn continued a weekly meeting with Barnhart on Saturdays at 1:30 p.m. for several years after that. Barnhart observed she'd come in 2 or 3 hours late and expect to be taken care of. However, she was simply lovely, breathtaking to behold. Barnhart ironically would go on to play another important part in Monroe's life. Barnhart was the inspiration for Pola, Monroe's character in How to Marry a Millionaire, years after they first met in 1953. Monroe remembered witnessing Barnhart without her spectacles, and she incorporated the glasses and klutziness into her legendary role. Monroe's stardom didn't happen overnight. While changing her hair color aided in the process, she didn't fully become a star for another few years. There were brief film contracts with 20th Century Fox and Columbia Pictures, as well as a number of modest film parts. More modeling jobs, plastic surgery, a run of unsuccessful relationships, and acting training were also on the horizon. In late 1950, she signed a new contract with Fox and began to break through, landing roles in comedies such as Young as You Feel, 1951, Monkey Business, 1952, as well as dramas such as Clash by Night, 1952, and Don't Bother to Knock, 1953. Monroe was embroiled in a scandal in March 1952 when word of a forthcoming pinup calendar surfaced. Tom Kelly, a pinup photographer, was said to have snapped nude photos of Monroe for Golden Dreams. Uneasy studio executives pleaded with Monroe to deny the report in order to protect her promising career. But Monroe took matters into her own hands and went rogue during the interview. She yelled out to the journalist, "It's actually me in the photos." She explained that she was cash-strapped and jobless in 1949 and that she had posed with Kelly, whose wife was also present at the time, because she needed the $50 to make a car payment. That actually turned out to be a brilliant move that just added to her celebrity. The tale, which she knew would be the lead for the journalists, didn't hurt her career. Instead, it aroused sympathy and increased interest in her films. Marilyn's hair was eventually removed of all pigment and lightened to a stunning platinum blonde, or as she put it herself, pillowcase white. Barnhart may have been the hairdresser who gave Monroe her golden hair, but she wasn't Monroe's only stylist. Monroe would work with a revolving roster of hairstylists like Kenneth Battelle, Gladys Rasmussen, and Pearl Porterfield, the Hollywood hairdresser famous for Jean Harlow's own pale blonde locks. Years later, when she was a true star, Monroe's stylists applied peroxide and bleach highlights every 3 weeks for the rest of her life, according to author Pamela Keogh. In an interview, Rasmussen stated, "There are various issues with doing Marilyn's hair. It's exceedingly fine, hence difficult to manage. We use my own secret blend of sparkling silver bleach, plus 20 volume peroxide and a secret formula of silver platinum rinse to remove the yellow," says the stylist. Monroe was claimed to have avoided washes and concealed her black regrowth by sifting Johnson's baby powder, the original dry shampoo, under her roots. And I remember using baby powder actually in my hair, before dry shampoo became a thing. Monroe conquered Hollywood with her pillowcase platinum blonde hair. With her roles in films such as Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953, How to Marry a Millionaire, 1953, and There's No Business Like Show Business, 1954, she attracted unparalleled worldwide acclaim. She married baseball legend Joe DiMaggio in 1954, and despite the fact that the marriage lasted less than a year, the media attention was huge. She married playwright Arthur Miller in 1956. By the end of the decade, she had established herself as a serious actress for the first time with the film Some Like It Hot in 1959. Miller, with whom she had divorced the year before, wrote her a final role in The Misfits in 1961. Monroe started filming the comedy Something's Gotta Give in 1962, but was sacked in June due to her frequent absences from the set due to her illness. That was, of course, after she flew to New York City in May for a banquet where she sang Happy Birthday to President John F. Kennedy, whom she was supposedly having an affair with. Monroe died of an overdose of sleeping pills in her LA home on August 5th, 1962, after spending several months as a virtual recluse, Despite the fact that most people think that she took her own life, there are still a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding this, with her involvement with JFK, and a lot of people think that there was foul play involved. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Today, her biography is a collection of stories about Marilyn Monroe's blonde bombshell persona developed by Hollywood studios. Some genuine and some imaginative concoctions of her blonde bombshell image created by Hollywood studios. Monroe, on the other hand, had the final say on her notorious hair. In Hollywood, a girl's virtue is much less significant than her hairdo, she claimed in her posthumous biography, My Story, which was published 12 years after her death. You're judged on how you appear rather than who you are. Hollywood is a place where a kiss is worth $1,000 and your soul is worth 50 cents. I know because I've turned down the first offer too many times and insisted on 50 cents. Marilyn says, so it was really interesting to dive into kind of the backstory behind Marilyn Monroe's hair and kind of her transition into stardom. There's just so many unique angles to this, and I wonder if you could somehow find out the silver formula that she used. Because yeah, her hair was just pretty much completely pillowcase white in the end. And then earlier it was golden. So let me know which Marilyn Monroe look you like the best. Do you like more of her curly hair, or do you like the super straight white hair kind of flipped up in the early 60s? All right, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe with the big red button below. And thank you all my new members who joined this month. All right, talk to you guys soon. Bye.